Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it, you already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye up, bye up. This is a good one. Let's get to that intro. Welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that the gun stays kicking. And I appreciate the support, man, and I'm very humbled by it. Thank you. So we haven't forgot about Jakey the Snakey. Okay, no. If you forgot, you got short-term memory, homie. I have not and will not forget, because we need the ultimate justice for baby Manuel, and we need justice for baby Promise. And until that justice is met, and believe me, a lifetime is not enough time, right? Until justice is met, well, we're just going to be right here sitting with popcorn watching, right? Going caramel corn, kettle corn. Let's go, right? I got some new information for you guys, a little update. See, it's been quiet on them fronts. Everybody is anticipating and waiting next month for Rachueca Haro, Willie Lumpbutt, for Willie Lumpbutt's trial, right? Now, that she's going to go to another one of those felony hearings, then she's going to go to her prelim, and then she's going to do what she does, right? And then we'll find out if she gets a deal, if she takes a deal, or if she takes it all the way to the box. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's kind of a flim-flam case. You know, it's kind of a he said, she said, that he said, right? At this point in time, what they most likely got her on, definitely, is falsifying a report to a police officer. That we know. As far as the murder investigation, the murder case, we know that she knew, but did we know if she did the do, right? At the end of the day, I come from a situation where I've always understood the law. The law means that, hey, if you're in compliance, if you're an accomplice, if you were there while the deed was done, you're just as guilty as pulling the trigger. That's a fact. So we'll see what goes on with her. But everybody's been wondering what's been going on with Jake, and I'm one of those people that's been wondering. And so I get a phone call, and I get lucky. Someone reached out to me that just happened to be in Wasco State Prison on the other side. Meaning, when I say the other side, the SNY side, right? Someone who is an SNY inmate who's doing time, and they reached out to me from a facility, but they had just left Wasco, and they were there with Jake Haro, right? Jake the Snake. So immediately I started to ask questions. Well, what happened, bro? What's going on? What did he look like? Well, he looked rather disheveled. He got there, his hair was messed up. Just pretty much how everyone gets there, right? I said, was there any extra, extra security for him? Did they move him here? Did they move him there? What did they do? He said, no, they placed him in a regular wing just like everyone else. He did have a cellie. And he just started doing his time. Now, they did place him in a cell with a known convicted child SA. We'll just say that, okay? Which is more than likely what I thought was going to happen. See, they're going to hit you with the birds of the feather syndrome, right? Usually, when you're on a yard and you have bad charges, they're going to place you with other guys who have bad charges because they feel like you guys got each other's back. You can't be mad at him for what he did if he's not mad at you for what you did, right? And it's a trip how all these weirdos stick together, and they stick together tough because that's all they have. And in some cases, those weirdos are willing to tell. They're willing to do whatever they have to do to survive, right? They actually stick together in most cases more harder than everybody else. It's a trip. Gang members over there killing each other over who made their bed right, and these dudes over there playing Dungeons and Dragons and hacky sack. It just is the way it is, man. Shout out to the hacky sack players. I'm not trying to give you guys a bad name, but that's just what they do. So I said, hey, so what? So that was that. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be shipped out. When the homie left, he was still there. Jake Haro was still there. And I said, well, what's the news, bro? What was so urgent that we had to dial in 3 different people to get this call made, right? For you to fucking get my number so we can talk. He said, man, bro, there is one group in particular. The word on the curb is targeting this guy. Now, I'm not going to say that group's name. They are a dropout gang, and I'm not going to give up their name. Reason being, I'm not trying to do anything to help this fucking punk PC up worse than he's already PC'd up. I'm not going to give him the error, the opportunity to, or anyone to see this, CDC to see this and say, hey, we got to watch out for this one particular group, because first of all, that'd be telling. Second of all, man, hey, it is what it is. Jake made his bed. Now it's time for him to lay in it. I'm not going to sit here and say, man, it'd be a sad day or a sad situation if a situation was to happen to him. But this one particular group who got him on site, meaning that they're claiming that as soon as they see him, okay, they're going to do something bad to him. Well, they are all around him in Wasco. I'll say that. And if he does get caught slipping, now I don't know if they self-feed there, if they go to the chow. I didn't get too in depth with the conversation or the questions because my reception was always Tracy, and we did both, right? We went to the chow when we're on lockdown. They self-fed us. But if anyone has any errand opportunity to get to Jake, best believe they're going to try. He is a target. He is CDC's biggest target right now. Okay, he is being sought after by individuals that do not play. Reason being, anytime you're a child killer, man, people are going to feel some type of way about that, especially behind them walls in prison. That is the bottom of the bottom. Okay, there's levels to this shit. All the way from gang member, GP, real one, all the way down to the bottom of the barrel, which is child killer, right? That's even worse than a chomo. Even though chomos are on that same level, these killers are considered worse because they took the life unnecessarily of a baby or a kid that could not defend themselves, right? It's just a cowardice act. It's probably being one of the worst cowards you could ever be. Now, at the same time, I do have an update and some good news. In a month and a half, Kane Velasquez will be being released, which is a great thing. Okay, so that right there, I did some separate investigation, man, looking into it, trying to figure out the exact time that he's got left. And I was told by somebody in the administration that he's going to be out in a month and a half and that he's doing quite well, which is the total opposite of the spectrum. See, Kane Velasquez is looked at as a hero, not a zero. He's looked at as somebody, man, who actually handled his business and did what a father would do. And we don't see no wrong in it. Look, I don't live that criminal lifestyle. I don't believe in brutally beating people or retaliation or things like that. It's not me anymore, man. I'm out the loop for reals. But I do honestly believe that what that man did for the benefit of his child and his family was the righteous thing to do. It's what I would do without hesitation. You know, a time don't mean shit at that point. When your family is violated to that degree, you got to do what you got to do. Sometimes you can't rely on the authorities to do their job fast enough. I'm sure that's how the parents of all the victims in Stockton feel. They can't rely on the feds and the cops to do their job fast enough to bring justice and to put some names on who actually did the shootings and the killings of their children. So, you know, until you're in that position, you'll never know what you're going to do. But I could tell you, having never been put in that position of my child touched and me knowing who did it, I can't tell you what I would do, but I could tell you what I want to do. And that's just a fact. Now, back to Jake. What we want to do is see him suffer the harshest reality of all. And believe it or not, without speaking it into existence, I'm sure it exists. You know, a lot of people are gambling on the fact that he won't make it past 5 years. He won't make it past 10 years. He won't make it past 20. Well, I'm here to tell you, I'm going to be doing a second video today about someone who shouldn't have but has. Okay? It will trip you out in the California Department of Corrections who are literally protected from those that want to get to them. You know, it's crazy because when you see, we just seen, I did a video the other day, the killing in Salinas Valley, right? Of the guy from my neighborhood and how his family has filed a lawsuit and all that, right? And for those of you that watched that horrific act, you know, on video with the video that the CDCR released, right? Or that they let leak. It was probably one of the most craziest, heinous things I've ever seen in my life. I've been around a lot of pegadas, a lot of removals, been a part of them. This one right here took the cake. It was just too much, right? The knives weren't well made. The individuals had a chip on their shoulder or something to prove. They were trying to prove something to themselves, it seemed. And it just was horrific. Now, with that being said, the officers chose to just stand by and watch as this youngster was brutalized and horrifically killed in a grisly fashion, right? And we all seen it for what it was. This was a guy that was caught up in the gang lifestyle and something went wrong. Okay, but still he did not deserve what he got. And he deserved for those COs that were on the yard that day, in that building that day, to do what their job was, and that's to protect him. Now, I understand there's a lot of circumstances. I don't want to disrespect the COs and say that all of them don't do their job right, because that's false. That's a false narrative, right? I speak truth right here, reality. Here's some knowledge you can't get in college. You know, sometimes you can't do what you want to do if you're superior or there's a sergeant or a lieutenant or a captain saying, hold up. You have to wait for them to give you the go and the green light to handle your business. So I'm going to say that right there, but I will say something could have been done. But the moral to that, I say that to say this. You see how they let the gang members and the active guys just get slaughtered. They ain't even tripping. Go ahead, take them out. That's one less headache we have to worry about. Yet, when it comes to people like Jake Haro, child killers, convicted SAs and chomos and all these type of people, they get protected. They get a hug. They get a friend. They get what little Toro needs, a big old abrazo, right? They get a big old hug, bear hug, Care Bear hug. That's what that Vato needs. He needs the Starlight Care Bear hug. He needs the well wishes Care Bear hug. We'll be doing a video on that pretty soon. Another one, man. That guy, he needs a friend, right? He needs something. But as far as Jake Haro goes, he is targeted by this group. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that could just be this. People bumping baking soda breath on the door, talking shit. Oh, when we get action at this dude, we're going to get this dude. Because I'm going to tell you guys the honest to God truth. I've been around a lot of groups. I've been around a lot of gangs, right? And usually the loudest ones ain't going to do shit. The ones that are saying, oh, as soon as we see this vault, it's on and cracking. Well, first of all, there's called the element of surprise. If they were ever going to do anything, no one would ever know about it. The shit just happens. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, right? It's just going to happen. That's how that goes. Literally, you know, the only people that need to know are the people that are involved. And if there's other group segments that it might impact by them having to move on this individual on their side, then they will be abreasted of the situation. So that way they know whether they want to get involved or they want to lean back. That's how it goes in prison when it comes to the groups and gangs getting off on someone. They're not going to announce it on the tier. You better not come out because we're going to get you. That's self-snitching. That's fucking telling on yourself. It's dry snitching, in fact, right? That's exactly what that is. So I'm not going to take this group super serious with what they say. But then again, you have to realize that he is placed on the SNY side and things move differently over there. People just don't give a fuck. See, on the general population side of things with gang members and groups and gaggles, what you have is a situation where people have to answer to someone. You have to make sure that all your ducks in a row, all your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed. You have to make sure that what you're doing, you have the paperwork to prove it, that it needs to be righteously done, and it needs to be executed to the highest degree, right? Pura, 10-5 aquí, it needs to be. On the SNY side is none of that. It's the Wild Wild West. Orale como di. It's different. What it is you have individuals that can have a wild hair all up in their culo, like fucking Wes Swanson, skinny ass. I call him skinny nowadays because he is, right? And what does that mean? That means they could do anything they want to do when they want to do it. So, yeah, you could have someone that J-Cat's out on the tier. Hey, when we see you, we're going to get you. But 9 times out of 10, and usually these dropout gangs or these groups that are on these SNY yards targeting people for whatever reason, they have a lot of them stem from guys who have been somewhere, who have done some time. Now, a lot of the guys lately have not. They drop out right at the gate, and then they join a gang and get their face tatted, right? I seen a dude literally one time, man, his whole face was blasted, didn't have nothing else on his body but 3 dots and fucking a lot of tattoos. I was like, damn, right? And he was an ex-Northerner. You would think he would get the 4th dot, but he was like, I'll rather have 3. I'm totally against it. I was like, damn, what'd they do to you? They didn't force you to fucking ring that bell. It just was what it was, right? But at the same time, these groups having been somewhere are not going to announce that they're going to get Jake. So then I asked the dude, okay, so with that being said, they want to get Jake. I pretty much figured that. Why? Well, he's a target because he is a trophy. There's no other reason why. Do you guys remember when that guy, Stranger Turzak, right? He whacked that CEO, the one that killed Floyd, right? What's his name? The brother that got choked out. Floyd, right? George Floyd. The guy who kills George Floyd is in his area. He feels for whatever reason, maybe if I get off on him, it'll bring my name to the limelight. Maybe I'll get some canteen, or maybe he just didn't want to be around that individual. Whatever it was, he chose to take the initiative to pull out a weapon and get him, right? They snatched him up. Old boy lived. He got lucky because that dude Stranger was trying to give him the business, and that was that. Now, the dude Stranger wasn't in the best of standings, okay? He was no longer affiliated or associated with what he once was, and I think we all know that. If you don't know who he is, you got to Google him and do your research, right? I don't got the time to give you guys the whole history. Let's just say he was somebody at some point, and now he's nobody at this point, according to the gang things, right? But he chose to do that with no benefits of anything. The family didn't write him and send him a letter. He didn't receive money. It wasn't a setup. There was none of that. A lot of people had conspiracy theories. Oh, man, people are trying to take him out for this or for that. And then there was people that were making it racial and saying, "Oh, the brothers, that was their job to hit this cop and not a Mexican." Well, first of all, stranger's not Mexican. And second of all, he don't speak for him. But at the same time, he chose to do what he chose to do. You can't dictate a man's program. So the same thing goes over there for Jakey the Snakey, the fucking earthquakey Haro, right? He's over there all weirded out, PC'd up on the PC side, and guess what's going to happen to him? Bad things, because that's what people are saying. Now, when I said I was going to be doing a video later on about someone who shouldn't be around all this time, you guys are going to see what I'm talking about. But look, I'm here to burst your bubble because I'm a bubble burster, right? Unfortunately, man, I'd like to give it to you real so you don't live you're not living a fantasy like the movies project, right? This is the truth. The truth is Jake could possibly go into prison and nothing could happen to him. He could hurt himself more than others hurt him. That's the truth. You know, doesn't mean just because he has the charges that he has, people are going to get on him. They might say they're going to get on him, but you got a lot of dudes, man, that talk a lot of rah-rah, but when it comes time, they're not doing that. They're going to look at him like it ain't worth it. In some cases, there's dudes that talk all that shit. They're going to get on Jake. He's probably going to put hands on them. I'm not speaking in his behalf. I'm speaking truths and facts and consequences, right? The consequences are going to be, yes, he's not going to go unscathed. There are going to be people that approach him. There are going to be groups that target him because he's a trophy and because of the things that he done and because it gained some attention. But the fact is that he could probably go onto a yard and no one do nothing because they're going to place him around a whole bunch of people that are just like him. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to be secluded or protected away from, you know, I don't know what to call them, non-active dropout, active gang members. Like, there's going to be those on the yard. And if they choose to get off or an individual chooses to, then it is what it is. He is going to always be a target in prison, and he deserves to be because he hurts children. He's a coward. He's less of a man. He's not a man. He's not a father. He ceased to be all that the day he put his hands on Promise. Okay, and that's the facts and the truth. I've been accused of many things in my lifetime, right? A lot of people have said a lot of things, and I've suffered a lot of the repercussions for the actions if it was truth. If it wasn't, I fought it to the box, and that's the fact. The fact is, this man didn't even fight the case. He admitted guilt and just pushed on, and a lot of people say, yeah, well, at least he had the balls to admit it. Now, fuck him, right? He was a coward, and he was scared to get what he really had coming, right? Which was the death penalty. And that's just the truth. And what did he do? He fought, he admitted it, thinking he was going to get a slap on the wrist and he gets 30 to life. Well, let me tell you, I don't think he's going to be able to do all life. But again, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that people are going to beat him up. But there is a group that's after him. Okay, you guys remember what happened to Danny Masterson? That motherfucker hit the yard in them big BBCs. And when I say BBCs, man, I'm not talking about Cornhub, right? Talking about BBCs, right? Brothers by Choice, which is a dropout white gang. They got on his head quick, pulled his hair a little bit, kicked him in his ass, and he was transferred out to San Luis Obispo, right? He was on his next way out there. He was gone, right? They shot him out there to give him a key to his room and let him go push a fucking old SA around. That's it. When I say SA, I don't mean Sur Gang. I mean something different, if you know what I mean. So let's not be surprised if Jake finds himself in a Charmin-ass institution or prison. But him being a lifer, he's automatically going to be level 4. Now, I don't know if he'll go to a 270 design or a 180. That depends upon his points, but I'm sure he's going to have a lot of points. They might make an exception to the rule and throw him over there with Danny Masturbatorson, right? And if they do, well, then he's going to be over there kicking it, chilling, because ain't nothing happened to Danny. Again, Danny didn't kill no kids, but he did some wild shit to women, allegedly, right? So we're going to find out exactly what happens to this guy. As far as a group targeting him, ain't no new news. The homie was like, nah, serio, this is what they're saying, bro. As soon as this fool comes out, they're going to get him. Well, I can guarantee you, man, and I don't mean to disrespect the homie because he did me a righteous spot by tapping in, but I'm sure people have had a lot of errant opportunity. You go to medical facilities to get your blood drawn and things like that while you're there. That's why you go to reception. Reception is to get your paperwork together for them to figure out your points and where they're going to place you, and for them to do medical things to make sure they place you in the right facility. Because some people go in there with the herp, and they need to go in there with other guys with the herp, because we don't need the herp around here. And in fact, if your celly got the herp and you come out with it, you only got it one way and one way only. And sounds scared, little Toro, don't cry about it. I'm just saying. Thumbs up or thumbs down. See, Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. Hey, I'm going to continue to what I do, man. For all the people that are struggling and striving to struggle. I appreciate all the support. I will keep you updated on what's going on with Ruchueca. As of right now, she has court in January, and I'll give you the latest updates as I get them. So word on the curb is Jake is being targeted by one particular dropout group. Who are they? I don't know. If they do something, we'll find out. If they don't, then it never was. This fucking video is sponsored by Vario Liquor. If you're ever in the Turlock, California area, go slide over there to the Vario, say what's up, man, and get you something cold to drink. Show some respect. Bang, bang.